Hello, lovely stitchers. I hope you're well and looking forward to the next stitch. So today's stitch, we're going to do a Palestrina knot stitch. So essentially they're a linear stitch, but I'm going to use it to patch on a piece of fabric. But you could do yours in circles, wavy lines. Again, you could do it in straight lines. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then you can do whatever you feel. Okay, so I'll drop you down onto the desk. I've got a little patch of fabric and I'm going to stick it down using a bit of this paper piecing glue. I'm just going to pop it kind of off center, and I'm using just get rid of that, Candy Floss Maxi Sweet Treat. No, SCHEEPJES Candy Floss, which we've just had back in stock. So if you've been looking for a certain colour, now's your time, because I've just got a full stock of them. Just get that out of the way because it's going to bother me. So as I say, this is a linear stitch, but I'm going to use it to patch this piece of fabric down with. So I'm coming up through my fabric and I'm going to make a long stitch to start and then come back up through my patch. So I'm sort of doing a square kind of shape. So I've got one stitch and then I've come up here. I'm going to come up, use the back end of my needle and come through that first stitch and pull all the way. Okay, so you've then got that kind of stitch with, looks like it's got two legs. So I'm going to come back through between these two. So you're underneath your first stitch and underneath the stitch you've just kind of made, and I want to make sure my thread is underneath my needle. Okay, and I'm going to pull that all the way through, and that's the start. I'm then going to go take another stitch as long or as short as I want it to be. Okay, and I'm using it like a patch, back of my needle up through, pull it all the way. Be quite taut with it, and then I'm going to come back under that stitch and under that stitch. Hold on, let's get my thread, and your thread is going to be underneath your needle. So underneath, you pull it down. So let's do that again. I'm going to make a stitch and I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to pull that all the way through, and then I'll use the point of my needle. I'm going to go under that stitch and pull all the way through. Then I'm going to hold this, probably hold this down with my thumb, and I'm going to go under this big stitch and under that little stitch where I crossed over. Yep. And I want to have my thread underneath my needle. Again, along, up, going under that stitch and all the way up. Hold on to my thread, under that stitch and under that stitch, making sure your thread's behind your needle, and pull through. Once you get into the rhythm, it is quite simple. Sometimes I do a stitch and I think I can't remember how I did that. I really have to deconstruct it. It's all about, this stitch is all about keeping your thread underneath the needle here at this point. Otherwise it just makes a twist. Don't know whether or not you can see what I'm doing. So I'll go a bit closer. So I'm going in and up. So I'm making kind of 2 stitches in one. Okay, and I'm going under this stitch and pulling all the way. And then I'm going to hold my thread down with my thumb, and I'm going to come under that stitch and under that stitch. Thread underneath my needle and pull. It is easier to do it with the back of your needle, but I've noticed that you're sort of getting a conflicted, which is the thread. So under that, then hold your thread down under there, under there, thread under your needle. Are we sort of making sense? I'm hoping so. I'm going to go all the way around this patch. If you hold it, these stitches down with your thumb, your thread down with your thumb, sorry, you should keep it out of the way and make sure it's going where it should be going. But you can make these little stitches a lot shorter, but because I'm patching on, I want it to be quite long. Okay, go around this corner. I am going to go down, and that's how you'd finish it off, by the way. You'd just finish your stitch off like that and tie it at the back. But I'm just going to come down, and I'm going to come really close in and along. Have my stitch. Ooh, that didn't want to go through. I'm going to need some new thread in a minute, but I won't make you sit and watch me. She says that, and I do, because I get chatting about things, don't I? Try and get to the end of this row. Underneath both. Ooh. You could do it the opposite way, so your legs are sticking out that way. So you start with a different angle. It's entirely up to you. As I say, I just sort of give you the prompt, if you like, and you guys do your own thing with it. I've noticed in the 1 or 2 people are sharing their work in the Facebook group, and completely different to what I'm doing. Oops, I've unthreaded my needle. Yeah, so, you do your own thing. And obviously different colourways. Everybody's got their idea of what their colour is, what colours they suit, and I'm just going to come down there and I'm going to finish this bit of thread off. Oh, yeah, there's you know, some really beautiful, interesting colours. So don't have to stick with what I'm doing, that's for sure. Get another piece of thread. Ooh, sorry about the sniffling. I'm going to carry on and just do a one, carry on with the stitch. Rather than come back to you. So I'm going to come up there, look. Oop, put a long stitch and make a little short stitch over the top. It's just a different, interesting way, isn't it, of stitching a blanket stitch in a way, or a patchy kind of stitch. So in and up. Up through there. Oh, and back through that one and that one. That's why I love stitching. You find so many different things, and they're so, each stitch is so very, very versatile. You know, what my idea of what I want to do with it, or somebody else's idea of what they want to do with it, are never the same. Never the same. You know, and sometimes when you do this stitch without this longer stitch and really tight together, it's a completely different, looks like a completely different stitch. So as I say, have a play around with it, see what your favoured kind of way is. I could, you know, I could do these kind of stitches, these long linear stitches, forever on things, because it just looks so cool. You could add beads into it. I'm not going to, but you definitely could. Hang on, let's just go under. This edge is fraying a little bit, so I keep catching it. This is the point where I say, don't forget to subscribe, to hit the like button and subscribe. Just get that bit of frayed as it keeps catching. Yeah, especially if you're new. Welcome, by the way, if you are. It's this little community is steadily growing, which I'm quite proud of. Because I did think, well, no one's going to want to watch this. You know, I'm going to send people to sleep, which I probably do. And I've noticed that I get comments from people helping me out with my lack of memory. That's definitely a menopausal thing. You know, that's my excuse, and I'm definitely sticking with it. I mean, I could actually write a whole different, or do a whole different vlog all about menopause, I think. Don't know about you ladies out there a certain age. It's not easy, is it? It's not easy. But try not to moan. I'm going to go down there. And I'm coming back right next to it. I'm just like leaving a little tiny one little snippet of thread. A thread of the fabric, really. Back under. Hold on to my fabric. The thread, I mean, back under that. Floss, thread. I call it thread. I know different parts of the world call it different things. My daughter would call it floss. I'm old school. And I call it thread. My granny would be like, it's thread, it's not floss. She'd think that floss would be something completely different, I'm sure. I do wish sometimes that my granny was here still. She would absolutely be all over this. She'd love YouTube. She'd love to be teaching you how to do things. She was an excellent teacher. She wasn't a teacher by trade. She was just an excellent teacher of all things home crafts. And I think I kind of got the book from her when, we used to go and have lunch on a Sunday and would stay all day basically. My grandpa used to find lots of things for us to do. Right, there we go. Back down. So I've come full circle, but full square. Let's have a look, see if you can see. That does look super pretty. But can you see the little knot? Yeah. So that's where I'm leaving this one. I'm not going to do any more on it. Just going to come. So the back of this is looking as pretty as the front if you're that way inclined. Just pop you there. If you look at the back's starting to look really good as well. The back tells as much of the story as the front does. So, where are we? There's my little patch. And I might come back and do something on that, and I might not. We did this yesterday. I just did a few. I might come back with something else and put something else in it. I mean, maybe. Oh, beg my pardon. Maybe I won't. No, these things are here for you to do what you wish. They aren't. They're always something that I think are never quite finished. There's a lady, I can't think of her name, K3N. She calls them meditation scrolls, and she's really right in that, because I can sit and I can just do things mindlessly. Not so much on this because obviously I'm filming it, but I could do things. This is my practice kind of stitching, and it's all over the place. I just sit and just pick up and do things. I don't worry about it. I don't think it's got to be like this. It's got to be this way. This is a mindful practice, something that you can be in the moment with and not worry about how it's going to look. It's entirely how you want it to look. So, it's not a rush. It doesn't have to be like mine. It's your piece or pieces or patches or whatever it is you're doing. You know, I don't want people to feel like that they've got to do exactly what I'm doing. I will reiterate, this is something that I do to take myself out of the world that's going on around me. If I'm feeling quite low, I can come here, I can get a bit of stitching done, I can talk to you guys. You know, so this is my sanctuary, if you like. I'm now wittering on about stuff because sometimes I feel like I don't have to. I sometimes get a little bit. I don't know what the words are I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, like, you know, that it's comforting to be here. That's what I'm trying to say. And I find the stitching and the chatting is such a comfort. So after that, if you're still here and you haven't subscribed, please do. Please give it a thumbs up, and hit the notification buttons and all that kind of thing. You know, every little helps. So, and I'll see you again soon. So happy stitching. Bye bye.